Welcome back everybody to another GIMP tutorial for specifically doing texture, skins, templates, paint jobs, whatever you want to call it for planes in DCS. Once again, we're working on the F86 Saber since it's simple. We're taking this to the next step. We're going to do the specular layer. And you may have noticed, but there's no Fiddles McGinty for you guys because it's no longer St. Patrick's Day. So let's get right into it. I don't remember quite where we were in the last video, but right now we're going to be doing the specular layer. I've got a completely different GIMP file for the specular layer. I usually include it in the same file because that way you can do both in the same file and you don't have large files, two documents or two GIMP files that are a large file size on your hard drive or whatever. But in this case, there is a specular layer here. It's pretty much just green, or gray. I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I want it to be shiny with the paint parts not so shiny. And I don't totally understand how this works, but it has something to do with contrast and or something like that. I don't know. I'm making that up. But I do have some files that other people have made that are pink and green, and that's usually what I do to make things shiny. So you'll see this is from the Huff, which I believe was Skatezilla that did this. Some of the green areas are a little bit less green than others. I would assume that would make them a little bit shinier than the brighter green areas, perhaps. I don't know for sure. I'm just going to grab some green and some pink. I'm going to make my particular template a little bit more consistent. It's just either going to be pink or it's going to be green. This isn't going to show up, obviously. It's just going to be so it doesn't have to have the dirt or the lines or the rivets on it or anything like that. I'm just going to make the base layer for my specular map or my specular texture pink. You could play around with the opacity a little bit if you wanted, but you don't have to. I'm going to leave it at 100%. It'll look fine. For the green, I need to import my paint job here. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove some of the layers. I don't want to remove the text and the details necessarily. I want to remove the dirt. I need it to be clean. Otherwise, when I grab my colors, because the dirt is on top of my paint job that I created, if I grab my colors, they're going to be all... It's not going to be a complete selection of the blue areas and whatnot. So we copied visible. You saw me go to the edit, copy visible. So that gets, instead of having to copy layers one by one, I just copied everything that was visible. And whoops, I've got a big white dot down there that I left on my last in my last video. I don't know how that got there, but anyway, we'll fix that later. That's right there. It is. Let's fix it on this one right now. We need to find that, which layer that's on. Okay. There it is. There it is. So, not sure how I did that. We're going to erase that over here. Awesome. That way we don't accidentally save it or something. We'll erase it there. You'll see that I'm erasing the dark gray or the flat gray, and it's going to that specular layer. What you're seeing in that circle is the specular layer from back behind. But on your selection tools, I know I've mentioned this before, but make sure you're selecting the Add to Selection option, which are the two reddish boxes stacked on top of each other. You've got a selection option, which selects whatever you click. It's just going to select that, and it's going to make whatever other selection you had go away. We have the Combine option, so it's going to combine our previous selection with our new selection. There's also the subtract and overlap options that I don't use that much, but they do come in handy. We're going to grab some of I'm not worried about all that area, but I do want to grab some of the bits, little artifacts that didn't pick up. You can see there. Those are just not anomalies, they're little details from the previous, from the other selections or from the other template that aren't quite right. I probably should fix those. In some cases, they're the way they're supposed to be. In some cases, they're not really noticeable. But at any rate, we need to go grab all that stuff. So the roundels look like they might need some work. It's a little time consuming, but it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. A little bit around the words, the little red areas. Let's work on this. Sometimes your selections will look a little funny when you get done, especially as you select more stuff. Depending on your computer, GIMP can kind of get confused. So that looks weird, but it's all selected. I'm going to go ahead and select it just to make sure, but again, change that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut through. I'm going to cut through some of the video here for speed. So we've jumped ahead a little bit here, and we are ready to paint. So I've selected my green layer, and I'm going to paint everything that I've got selected. And you don't have to whip the cursor back and forth like that. You can go slowly. It doesn't actually speed anything up if you do it the way I do it. Yeah. Okay, so I actually messed up and cut some more video out because I was on the wrong layer. So just a word of warning, take your time. You don't want to mess this stuff up because it takes a lot of effort to create the files, to convert it to a DXT file, load it into DCS or the model view, or either one. Check it out and go edit. So anyway, I've got the green on the correct layer. I don't care about the other layer that I colored green over because I don't really need it. We're going to go ahead and fix some of this just because. And there are some errors here, like I said before. There's some things that I'm going to have to fix, but I might fix those kind of on the side. For now, I'm kind of interested in just checking out how close I am. You're usually going to have some alignment issues. Usually not a big deal if you're in one template without having to line up seams from one template to the other. It's a little bit easier. You can still have a few little issues even if it's one file. I'm going through right now and just kind of cleaning up a few little things one at a time instead of doing it all together. Not too big of a deal. Okay, so basically that's close. So we're going to save it like this as another bitmap file, and then we'll convert it to a DXT as well, and we'll look at that in the next video. So I'm going to save I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to convert it to a bitmap, which I think I've shown before, so I'm not going to necessarily do that here. And that's it for this video. Check you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.